Republicans and the government shutdown, remember, they've also stopped paying members of the military. They have stopped paying essential services that are essential for us, may not be for them. And it is their fault. They are in charge, as Marjorie Taylor Greene would say, one of their colleagues. Now, Mike Johnson, who's, speaker, got torched by a military wife for unpaid military families. Now, here it is.
Tonight, growing anxiety among American military families. People lining up for hours outside the food pantry near Fort Hood, Texas. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson confronted on live television by a woman who says she's a military spouse from Virginia.
I have 2 medically fragile children. I have a husband who actively serves this country.
She told Johnson she is outraged that he won't bring the House back into session to pass emergency funding to pay the troops.
As a Republican, I'm very disappointed in my party, and I'm very disappointed in you because you do have the power to call the House back. You did that, or you refused to do that just for a show. I am begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military is getting paid. And I think that it is awful, and the audacity of someone who makes 6 figures a year to do this to military families is insane.
But Johnson blaming the Democrats.
Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are preventing your family from getting the care they need, not Republicans, and my heart goes out to you.
Lies, complete fabrications. Now remember, that fella is I can't say that word. That fella is a coward. He is a spineless individual. Doesn't care about you. It's not because he's Republican. There happen to be Republicans who do care. It's because he is no leader. He never has been, and he never will be. He was never there to represent you. Wake up to it. When people tell you who they are, believe them and move forward. He's there to serve his agenda. Proximity to power. Proximity to power. What is he doing? He's doing the power play due to the man who's in charge of the White House. So while you're talking to him, you're not talking to him. He's gone. You're talking to his control matrix. And that's Donald damn Trump, his Lord and Savior. So understand what's happening here. You have individuals following Trump in an occultic way, while at the same time trying to convince you that somehow the party that's not in control, the party that doesn't have a president in the White House, the party that does not control the purse strings nor the agenda is somehow to blame. It's a damn shame. Now, Scarborough, a Republican, called out these lies. Here it is.
That a guy who says that he's going to rule by the Bible, it's really surprising. He lies so effortlessly. He leaves 2 things out. One, the Democrats actually, as he was fact-checked in real time, Democrats have a plan to make sure the military is paid, to make sure that that woman gets the help and the support, and those children get the help and support that they need. And Republicans are blocking it. Don't believe me? Ask Elise Stefanik, who is also putting a bill on the floor to stop Mike Johnson from blocking payments to the military.
This is a Republican.
To stop the Republican Senate from blocking payments to the military. Mike Johnson could pick up the phone right now, call Elise Stefanik, say, hey, Elise, we're going to vote. I'm going to call everybody back in, and we're going to vote on your bill today. And it would pass.
Bad policy creates death. We've talked about that. Good policy creates life. Their number one agenda is to pass policy dynamics that help you. Military families are being affected. Heather Campbell lost her job working for a food bank over the summer because of federal funds being cut. Her husband serves as an officer in the Air Force. But now he's facing the prospect of missing his next paycheck because of the government shutdown. If lawmakers in Washington don't step in, Campbell's husband won't get paid on Wednesday because the couple lack the savings to cover all their expenses. They expect to survive on credit cards to pay the mortgage and feed their 3 children, racking up debt as the political stalemate drags on. We've had reports of TSA agents not showing up for work. They're already overworked and underpaid. Now they get no money. On top of that, you have a president who proclaims from a seat of alleged power that they're not owed back pay for being furloughed, forced to come to work without payment. If lawmakers in Washington don't step in, Campbell's husband won't get paid on Wednesday because the couple lacks the savings to cover all their bills. Now, they expect to survive on the credit cards, etc. Quote, you're asking us to put our lives on the line for people. You're asking us to put our lives on the line for the people we love to put their lives on the line, said Campbell, and you're not even going to give us our paycheck. What? There is a lot of broken trust there, end quote. Support is available for military families through nonprofits and charities who are keeping this thing going, trying to. For example, some financial institutions are offering zero interest loans, while each military branch has a relief organization. But Campbell said she and her husband in Alabama can't apply for a payday loan because they're refinancing their house. It disqualifies them. They lack a substantial emergency fund because they were paying off student loans and moved several times in the last few years to military posts. So they spent their money paying back student loans and moving from place to place. It was often challenging to her to find steady work and childcare. You got canceled school events now. So canceled school events, growing lines at military food pantries, accumulating fears tied to missed paychecks and the potential need for loans to stay afloat. U.S. military families are already feeling the impact of the government shutdown that is stretching into their second week and are preparing for worse days ahead. In the last week, military children have already seen after-school programs and activities canceled en masse due to the slowing of federal funds to military schools, disrupting any sense of relative normalcy those families depend on. 2 of the sources told CNN. Some military families have preemptively flocked to their local food pantries to stock up on groceries and supplies in case there is a drawn-out shutdown that could mean they go an extended period without an income, one of the sources said. The second military spouse told CNN there were nearly 100 people at their local food pantry on the base where the spouse's family is stationed. This week, a notable uptick compared to the normal usage. Other food pantries have reported similar increases. One factor that contributes to tight finances for military families is the disproportionate number that are single-income households, with active duty service member spouse unemployment consistently high, over 20% in 2024. On top of all of this, you have a very heartless administration. I feel for these families. I feel for the children that have to suffer because of adverse policy and the politics of play. But, Trump does not have a friend in sight that fits our socioeconomic demographic. But see, we knew that before we elected him. He doesn't have somebody who's a close friend of his who actually lives paycheck to paycheck. Instead, he gave government jobs to billionaires who could not find their ass if their life depended on it. They're not skilled. They're not qualified. They don't have special gifts and abilities. These individuals lack qualification. They lack the skills. And while those who do have the qualifications and the skills, they are routinely marginalized by the rhetoric from the White House and typically believed by those who decide to perpetuate the false narrative. Back pay not guaranteed. In an email to staff Thursday morning, the IRS is now walking back guidance it provided in the previous internal memo to staff that stated furloughed employees were entitled to receive back pay, according to an email obtained by ABC News. Talk about a morale killer. This is villainous. And when there's a real villain, when everyone can agree, where's the villain? Some superheroes will have to show up. So here we go. This is not his money. It's your money. The money is there because you paid it. Because you paid your bills, because you went to work and got taxed, because you paid your student loan debt. The money is there. It's yours. It's not there. It's more than unfair. It's cruel and unusual. All right, Professor, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an important point that you just made, that this is our money, our taxpayer money, that's being invested to support almost completely private corporations and oligarchs, right? And our taxpayer money funding, how embarrassing and shameful, has been directly funding an ongoing genocide, including a continuation of the military industrial complex via big tech companies, which is, what I study. I study technology and society issues as a social scientist at UCLA. The president this time, Trump 2.0, surrounded himself with absolute enablers and complete yes men and yes women. I mean, look at Pam Bondi's embarrassing, mean-spirited ways of responding to some of the questions that the senators asked her, including a couple of Republican senators. We are seeing very clearly something that the clear fault lines here is that the vast majority of American people, middle and working class, are feeling incredibly anxious about their economic lives and their economic futures. And Trump actually acknowledged people's anger and scapegoated immigrants in kind of a mean-spirited, hateful, and highly inaccurate way, when actually the robbery is being done through our taxpayer money with these big corporations and the wealthiest of the wealthy. Hence, look at the so-called big, beautiful bill. So it is interesting to see whoever can run as a legitimate economic populist who actually supports and cares for working people, like Senator Sanders did, like others, like our beloved colleague, Dr. Cornel West cares about, they actually have a chance. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that healthcare subsidies, healthcare costs are going to be too high related to this. She's breaking in a way with this because she recognizes the economic elephant in the room. And so everyone can do blame games and so on, but the reality is Mike Johnson is an obstructionist and a yes man. Look what he's doing with the Epstein files, not deciding to name Adelita Grijalva, the new member of Congress. He won't swear her in because that will mean that the Epstein files will have enough votes to be released. So think about what's actually going on and who is actually maintaining power and keeping the rest of us in the dark and feeling anxious and vulnerable, and maybe making us feel like we're going crazy sometimes.
Yeah, when the truth is we're the sane ones.